We welcome you into the Small Ball Podcast alongside Christian Dennis and Trevor Mickelin. I'm Scott Ayers. We've got producer Andy behind the scenes. A full show in terms of we've got everybody here. And fellas, let's just address it right away. You two did something this past weekend. Trevor, I noticed this too. Our back lights aren't on.
Keep going, Scotty.
Which, for our Spotify listeners, they don't care, but we have a nice little light set up. Trevor's turned them on. We want it to look nice in here, Christian. And there was you went to a place that was also very nice, and that was Vegas. You guys were in Vegas for the Summer League, and I know you enjoyed it to the point where in our fantasy basketball league, I got a text from both of you about a specific player whose name is Cam Whitmore.
Going to Summer League was fun, dude. It's the one time of the year other than All-Star where it feels like everyone in the NBA world is in attendance. They're in one place. And I didn't expect to see as many NBA personalities up close and just literally I'm going to get a hot dog and I see Jalen Suggs walk right past me, or I see Mark Spears or Shams. Like, it was insane because they don't have a tunnel or somewhere private to travel in between the arenas. They just walk where everyone else does. It was really cool. Really cool just to see the people. I was surprised by that.
Yeah, the best way to put it is like an NBA candy store. Everyone you're walking by is just like, oh, who's that? Who's that? Who's that? Anyone that's over like 6'3", you're like, yeah, that guy definitely played. And then there's just like us, who are just kind of like the citizens. We were just like,
you got rejected by a.
Yeah, I don't. You know, I think I'm officially a Woj guy.
Bang.
You know, I saw Shams in the hallway, and I said to him as he walks by me, I said, "Hey, you got any Kings updates?" Just big times me.
He big times you, and you know what? That opens the door for us to kind of make fun of him a bit.
Yeah.
He can't be taller than Bruno Mars.
Oh, I like that.
He can't be taller than Bruno Mars, and I didn't know that. He doesn't have a small man's face.
No,
but when you see him in person, he's handsome.
He's very handsome,
but he's really short.
He's really short. Yeah, he's chiseled. But he's short.
He's very chiseled.
He's kind of like a Napoleon.
He is. Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
But it was cool. Like, not just like, you know, that guy's tall. I can kind of tell he, like Jaren Jackson Jr.'s walking right there. Like, these are all-star players that are just watching their young players play.
Arm lengths away.
Arm lengths away. I could have tickled Reed Sheppard. He's getting interviewed by Malika Andrews, and I could have tickled him.
You take him to the tickle factory.
I could have. That's how close these guys were. It was cool.
And what was the actual game experience like?
The games are cool. Well, I guess we'll jump into some of the games that we saw. We saw Houston and LA. It was cool to see. Anytime Bronny touched the ball, the arena started buzzing, which was kind of cool, but also like,
it makes me feel bad for Bronny.
Definitely. The pressure's there for him. But he's playing like a 55th pick in the draft, right?
Yeah.
He shows flashes, but for the most part, he doesn't seem to be.
He stinks.
Okay. Yeah. But anyways, Cam Whitmore. There were some standouts in Summer League. Let's talk about the guys that we've seen really play well. Cam Whitmore, dude. You know, slipped in last year's draft, and a lot of people were surprised at how well he played in Houston last season. He looked like he did not belong on the Summer League court. He looked way better than everyone else. Athleticism, IQ, offensive ability, defensive ability. This guy was the best player on the court for sure.
He was literally everywhere. Like, he would just be jumping up with these crazy athletic rebounds. And it's just like, where'd you come from? I literally didn't even see you there. And he was just kind of... You could tell that he was a veteran player and that he just didn't belong on the court. And same with his teammate, Reed Sheppard.
Yeah.
Reed Sheppard honestly really surprised me. You know, he's like 6'2". He's not like a massive human being, but he's really athletic and really smart. He had those guys dancing on defense. He was just playing with them like they were just little toys. It was just really, really shocking to me to see Reed Sheppard play that way. So, like, hey, apologies, Reed. I didn't know your game was like that.
He is like that. And you know what? This is actually probably a pretty good segue, and we can come back to Summer League. But on the topic of Reed Sheppard, it came out today that the Atlanta Hawks saw Reed Sheppard as a Patrick Mahomes type. And what did they do with that number 1 pick? They did not take Reed Sheppard. And to me, that's a little bit concerning or confusing because we saw how good he's looked in the Summer League, which, again, Summer League is one thing, playing the NBA is another. But he's looked like maybe the best player early on in the very early stages. And so when you say a player looks like Patrick Mahomes, that is you saying this guy looks like he could be the best player in the league. And they said that report comes out, and they get a guy who is essentially, who could be a project. He could be a project. So I guess I open the question. If you're Atlanta, how do you let this get out? And 2, why would you make that comparison and not take Patrick Mahomes?
If they think that he's Patrick Mahomes, then there's no way that they don't think Reese Shea is something better.
What's better than Patrick Mahomes?
Well, yeah.
Tom Brady. That would be your answer. You think Reese Shea is Tom Brady?
If they really thought he was Patrick Mahomes, they would have taken him.
Maybe they think that he's the Patrick Mahomes of this draft.
Oh.
Maybe not Patrick Mahomes of the NBA. Because if he's Patrick Mahomes of the NBA, then he's arguably the best player.
Yeah. Maybe ever.
Ever. And so they're just like comparing him to like when people say like when the Kings got DeMar DeRozan, it's like you just got the Michael Jordan of Harrison Barnes. Yeah. Maybe that's the comparison. That's what they probably meant, but then, the context got messed up.
It's like when you're transcribing something in a different language. That's sometimes what you do when you're comparing players of different leagues. It's like, okay, well, these hieroglyphics I think mean this. And that's kind of what we're doing of a quarterback being compared to a shooting guard of a bad draft from the NFL guy who's the best player maybe ever.
I'm confused.
Yeah, well, that's how we all feel when you compare Reed Sheppard to Patrick Mahomes.
Honestly, it was probably like the Mike Trout of comparisons.
Yes. It was definitely like the Lionel Messi's of trying to compare two players.
Unbelievable. Yeah, I don't know why that report went out and why that was even like. If you're going to have that report go out, you need to adjust it some way of Reed Sheppard is the Patrick Mahomes
of basketball IQ.
Or we see him as Patrick Mahomes, but his camp just didn't want us to draft him.
Right.
You need to shift that narrative.
Spin it. There's not enough spinning from some of these organizations.
You love to spin things.
I love spinning things.
I got another couple standouts.
Great. I have one too after you're done.
I love it. USA Select players, 2 of them really have been playing well.
Who?
In the Summer League. Brandon Pajemski and Jaime Jaquez. Those 2 have been balling. They also fit under the category of you are too good to be playing against these guys. And it's fun. I'm excited to watch both those guys. What steps are those guys going to take? They're both players who had a couple years at college under their belts coming into the NBA, picked late in the first round, and surprised people because usually you want to pick, one and dones. They have the upside. But these 2 players came in last year, Triple J for the Heat, and you had Brandon Ballin in Golden State. And both of them now, with Brandon Pajemski, he has an opportunity to start alongside Steph. And who knows how good that guy can be. And then you got Jaime Jaquez, who obviously in Miami has some guys ahead of him, but has showed a lot of promise.
Pod seems like the type of player that just loves playing basketball. He's like, they probably didn't ask him to play for the Summer League. He asked to play in the Summer League.
Yeah,
He's like, dude, I want to go out there and play. I want to try to get these guys paid. I want to literally just go out there and have some fun. Get your reps in, stay in shape, all that. Another player that I think is awesome was Jarris Walker from the Pacers.
Yeah.
He is a guy that was drafted high, like the 8th or 9th pick last year. Didn't really get to play a ton with the Pacers, but he could be a player that is a part of their core moving forward, or even part of a bigger trade to get a bigger player. I just think that he has tremendous upside. He's going to be a great defender. Can the offense translate? Because if it can, then the Pacers just got that much scarier in the East.
I love that you brought him up. I'm really pulling for him to carve himself out some kind of role where he can get some significant playing time. Because that guy coming in last year, it was like, ooh, this is a really fun prospect.
Yeah. Well, let me speak of a prospect, if that's all right.
Let's go, Scott.
And let me say this. I always mention Summer League. Our own Chris Fong texts me about this player. He goes, yeah, I'm not quite sure. He hasn't looked great. Well, I don't know what Chris Fong was watching because this player, Julian Strother, had 31 points, and he's averaging almost 30 points per game in the Summer League. Do you know why I bring up Julian Strother?
Why?
Because he is a guy, we're talking about big roles, has arguably one of the bigger roles of going from reserve to an actual bench player for Denver. They don't keep KCP. Their bench is looking shaky right now. They're hoping to get Russell Westbrook. They lose De'Ron Holmes. The player that has to step up the most, that's a young player, Julian Strother. He can stroke that thing. He can hawk two on that thing. That's just what Julian Strother does. And that's what he's going to need to do after the Summer League. He's going to have to stroke it, and he's going to have to hawk to it.
Wow. That's some big words right there. I do like Julian Strother, but I don't like the image in my head that I have Julian Strother now.
Yeah.
Well, he's got to make some big shots. Hawk to him.
I mean, he's the type of player that he can replace KCP's shooting.
For
he
sure.
is a good enough shooter to where he can replace that. Can he perform on the defensive end? That's where
Agreed. I have no idea. And that's where Summer League isn't going to tell you, because it's one thing guarding a two-way guy who's finished his 6th year at Concordia College. It's another when you get thrown in the game and you're having to guard Kyrie Irving. They're just two different types of guards, right?
So De'Ron Holmes tears his Achilles.
Yeah, no, it's torn. It's torn.
It's bad.
It's completely torn.
Who you guys trade up to get this guy?
Traded up. We told everyone in the league, hey, we want De'Ron Holmes.
And he was 3 for 3 before this injury from downtown.
He was butter.
he
looked really nice.
He was butter, bro.
No, he was butter.
So what are you guys gonna do at center? Who's backing him up?
Oh, we've got Dario, Super Dario Saric.
Okay.
We've got Vlatko at the 4 and Zeke Naji.
Thank goodness for those two.
Thank goodness for our heroes.
DeAndre Jordan's still.
DeAndre Jordan is also a third backup center. Biggest issue really is the front court. Jalen Pickett, Penn State, was drafted last year, early 2nd round. Calvin Booth really liked him, gave him a multi-year guaranteed contract. He's been butthole. He's been really bad. And like I said, I don't want to overreact to Summer League.
Let's overreact.
But let's overreact just a second.
You literally just said that, Reed Sheppard looks like he could be...
Patrick Mahomes.
No.
Mahomes?
I'm saying that's what they compared Reed
Got
Sheppard
you.
to.
We're already past the let's overreact. We're already doing that.
Let's overreact.
Here,
Let's overreact.
With Jane Pickett, though, it's a little different because it's year 2.
Okay.
Okay? He didn't look good year 1. You think year 2, these year 2 guys, you expect them to play better.
Yeah, a lot of them have.
A lot of them have. Cam Whitmore, we were just talking about him. He looked like the best player in Summer League.
Yeah.
Julian Strother looked great. Jane Pickett looks completely lost. Doesn't have a step on any player. Isn't very good at defense. Can't facilitate. What am I supposed to do with that?
Scott, I don't know.
What am I supposed to do?
Scott,
You can't do anything.
I
with
can't
that,
do
especially
anything.
from a guard.
Yeah, he's the Harrison Barnes of Julian Strothers. I mean, it's really bad.
that's bleak.
That's bleak.
We're gonna shout out. Should we just keep shouting guys
Yes,
out?
come
I got
on.
one.
Matas Buzelis.
Okay, yeah, I
I like
like that.
Didn't have a good game for Chicago day 1. It wasn't the best, but oh man, what's been the thing with him? It's like if he can figure this out, he'll be good.
Shooting.
Thank you, Scott. Bang.
Bang.
Went 4 for 8 last game. 50%.
You see that? You see that interview where that guy was like, "You can really stroke that thing."
and he gave him the eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. 28 points. He had a posterized dunk, 5 rebounds, 2 steals. Played well. Shout out to Chicago. They need things to go good for them.
Let's
Christian,
go. Let's keep going.
Let's
Yeah,
just
I've
keep
got
rolling.
one after Christian.
Terrence Shannon Jr.
Okay, that was mine after Christian.
All right.
Terrence
both you
Shannon
guys, let's
Jr.
go.
has looked like a dog. When I was watching the game, he has a lot of resemblance to what Cam Whitmore was doing on the Rockets. Just an athletic, aggressive, like he gets the ball, he's like, I'm going to score on you.
Yes.
He has that killer instinct. I liked it a lot. Rob Dillingham, a little shaky at first.
Shaky.
But I think once he gets used to the game, the NBA level, he'll be fine. I think he's just really pent up. He's nervous. He wants to get out there and prove himself.
And sometimes those guards take a little bit longer to adjust. Terrence Shannon, fun fact, I don't know if it's left or right arm, he's got a GTA cheat code
Yep.
for unlimited ammo.
Yep.
Ooh. I love Terrence Shannon. I've talked about him on the show. He's a guy who I really thought could have gone as high as top 10 in this draft. Obviously had some allegations. Those got wiped away. I think he's a top 10 talent in this draft. He's showing it early on in the summer league.
I like that. Rob Dillingham, hasn't played well, but his haircut looks really good.
He looks handsome.
He looks good. A lot of aura coming into this year.
Have Kings played yet?
Yeah. But
Yeah, they don't
have
really
Devin Carter.
Has he looked good?
He's out for 6 months. Shoulder surgery.
Oh, for sure. No, that's good.
Yeah.
So it's like really like, what's the point of watching the Kings summer
There's
league?
no point.
There's no point.
Yeah.
Bub Carrington, Washington Wizards.
Dog?
Like him. I like him a lot.
Yeah.
This is a great segment. Alex Sard,
Defensively,
yeah,
looks good.
nice.
I do
Yeah.
have to say, Alex Sarr getting the rebound and then dribbling the ball up the court. I think he looks pretty good.
Very smooth.
It's very like natural. So
That's great.
A lot of potential there.
All right.
I like
Reece
this.
Sachet,
Yeah. What about him?
he played last night,
Yeah.
so I don't have much to comment on his.
Cody Williams.
Nice.
Yeah, Cody Williams.
Yeah.
Salt Lake City didn't really do anything. Vegas though, he had like 28.
All right.
was pretty good.
This is great. We're empowering these players.
Yeah.
I like that.
I like that.
I think
Good
when they
segment.
listen to the show, they're going to be like, oh, wait, did small ball shut me out? Did small ball shut me out?
Yeah.
And if we don't, it's like, hey, this is your time to get better. Send us your tape. We'll give you your love.
Come on.
Come on. That's all we ask.
And if you're in a fantasy league and these guys aren't added, add them to your team now.
Yes. Especially if it's a dynasty. You're going to thank us later,
Yep.
like 4 years from now.
Yep.
Because a lot of them won't
it's
matter.
an investment.
It's an investment. Unless Cam Whitmore's available, get him now because, he's probably already.
If he's not available, that makes sense. If he's available, then your league knows nothing.
Yeah.
True.
Great. That's nice. You don't know ball test. Is
Yeah.
Cam Whitmore available?
Yeah.
Man, that's small ball. Hey, let's talk a little bit more about knowing ball. We haven't done this in a while. A little start, bench, cut. Trevor, what 3 players are we going to be doing today?
Christian's actually the one deciding.
All right. We're going to do start, bench, cut with 3 players. Jonathan Kuminga, Eamon Thompson, and Brandon Miller.
Ooh, that's juicy. Guys, this feels like the easiest start, bench, cut that I think I've ever had to do. And I can just say it quick. I don't even need to give much of an explanation. Start Brandon Miller, bench Eamon Thompson. We're going to cut Kuminga.
Wow. Okay.
That's the one that I was thinking about doing.
Yeah.
But there's someone that we're talking about that I believe in. I believe in his upside.
Whoa.
I think he has potential to be a really special player in this NBA. And that player is Eamon Thompson.
Woo.
We're starting Eamon Thompson. We are benching Brandon Miller, and we are cutting Jonathan Kuminga.
Ooh. Well, boys, this is where you're wrong. That's funny that you guys felt that way because I was going to start Jonathan Kuminga. I was going to bench Brandon Miller, and I was going to cut Eamon Thompson.
Whoa.
Here's why.
Yeah.
Jonathan Kuminga has been in the league for 3 years now, and the team that he is on, I don't think is benefiting him. I think that because the Warriors are trying to do this weird 2 timeline situation the past 3 years, it just hasn't worked out, and he hasn't been able to develop to his fullest. I think that with his athleticism and skill, he can be a very elite player. When I look at Jonathan Kuminga, I think of like the potential of him being like a Jaylen Brown type player.
Wow.
A guy that is a 2-way player that can lock down your player and get you buckets on the on offense. That's why I like Kuminga over Brandon Miller. I think Brandon Miller has tremendous upside offensively. I don't know yet if he's there defensively. And then Eamon Thompson, the dude could do everything on the basketball court but shoot. And you need
Fair.
to shoot. So I just feel like that's going to really hinder his ceiling. and that's why I'm cutting Amen Thompson. So that was essentially my reasoning for all three of those guys.
I like that. I think let me state a small case for Brandon Miller because Brandon Miller, I fully believe Charlotte will be Brandon Miller's team, if not this year, then the following season. I just think maturity-wise, he's far more mature than LaMelo.
Agreed.
And he even showed that in his first year. Like, when they're down 20, everyone seems kind of like fine with it, except for Brandon Miller. And that's what you need as a team leader of, hey, I hate losing, and I hate that we're down by 20 points. On top of that, offensively, as you said, Christian, I think Brandon Miller, of these three players, is the best offensively and has the best ceiling offensively. Defense can come with time, but I just love that ceiling on the offensive side where I'm going to take Brandon Miller over these other two guys 10 times out of 10.
I like that. Listen, both those arguments I could stand with, but the reason I choose Amen Thompson is because I think he has the potential to be the second top 3 defender in the NBA in his prime. He has that type of athleticism defensively, the IQ on the defensive end. He showed a ton of that in his rookie year. And offensively, I mean, you guys, watch some of this dude's highlights. He is so explosive. He has like Russell Westbrook type potential.
Wow.
I'm talking MVP Russ because he can facilitate. As you guys mentioned, he's not the greatest shooter, but he's super explosive and one of the most athletic young players we have in our game. So I'm kind of buying his upside. That's why I pick him to start for me.
I think what's interesting about all three of these guys is their situations, right?
Sure.
Like Brandon Miller, he plays for the Hornets, and the Hornets organization has been just really tough the past 5-10 years. And then you have Amen Thompson, who is just on a team full of all young guys.
He's not going to start next year.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Or Reed Sheppard. Both those guys are going to be the bench unit.
Yeah, so it's like
crazy.
It's like, who do the Rockets prioritize, to get playing time? Is Amen going to suffer because he can't shoot and, they like putting out Tari Eason and Jabari Smith and Reed Sheppard because...
Cam Whitmore. I mean, all these guys are young and great.
Yeah, it's really tough. And then with Jonathan Kuminga, it's like, what are the Warriors doing? Do they want to commit to trying to win? Do they want to commit to trying to develop Pods and Kuminga and Trace Jackson? There's no direction right now with the Warriors. So it's like, it's really just like, who can rise from the ashes, the slums, you could say, of the NBA? Because all three of those teams are play-in and lower.
We're kind of in that point of the offseason where it's obviously summer league's going on and you hear news about this guy's taking a big step in workouts or this guy's improving this with his game. And so it's really fun to talk through these first year, second year, third year guys and what steps they can take next year. All three of these guys, I would expect to take big steps.
For sure.
Big steps.
And that's why comparing these three, there's not really a clear start, bench, or cut.
No.
Because as you mentioned, there's huge leaps inbound. They're all in 3 different settings, but they have shown us enough for us to know that they really are players that should be in the NBA for quite some time. It's just a matter of, are they going to get through that threshold of being stars and being the faces of a team and a franchise? Or are they going to be players where the top that they get is, third best option? And so I think that's where, if you're someone listening or obviously one of us, that's where you decide of who you think will kind of break through that threshold. There's a chance all 3 of them become stars and become all-stars. Is that likely? Probably not. But I think that's just part of the gamble is where you're situated, what abilities you bring to the table, and just what's around you.
I agree. Well said.
I like that a lot. Yeah, we are in peak Ben Simmons social media era right now.
Yes, we are.
They've already come out and said he's going to be 100% by the start of the season.
Yeah.
So Ben Simmons might be back.
That's how we know where we're at in the offseason. It's like when a pope is announced, they have like the fire or the smoke. That's where we're at in the offseason, is the smoke of Ben Simmons will be healthy. That's where you're like, all right, we've got about 7 weeks until the season starts. So
More than that.
yeah. Oh, yeah. 12, 10.
I think it's like
October.
3 months.
Yeah. So we got August, September. Yeah, we got like 3 months. It normally starts like mid to late October.
So we'll need people to send in suggestions of things to talk about this summer.
Well, at least we got the Olympics, right?
Oh, yes.
We could chat about that sometimes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
WNBA?
Yeah. Hey, All-Star Game is here in Phoenix.
What?
Yeah. Crazy.
No way.
I know.
Wait,
the
what is
marketing's
it?
been terrible about it because I
That's
just
horrible
found out.
marketing.
Yeah. I was
Wait.
at the airport and I saw that the WNBA All-Star Game was here. I was like, oh, I
When
should
is
go.
it?
This weekend, I think.
This weekend?
Yeah.
What kind of marketing is that?
Yeah. If there's one place I want to visit during summer, middle of July, it's Phoenix, Arizona, when it's 115. Great All-Star Game.
Yeah. Just miserable. The players are going to be sweating by the time they get off the plane.
Oh, yeah. There's people are going to pass out. People are going to fly in. Well, people might fly in for the All-Star game. And then they're going to pass out because they're dehydrated.
I will say, Kaylin Clark, she will probably bring in a lot of, at least a lot of people in the Phoenix area to that game.
Yeah. Oh,
Because
yeah.
I instantly think of that game. Without Kaylin Clark, I have no interest. Kaylin Clark, I'm like, okay, she's insane. I want to go
Bayou
watch.
Barbie, double machine, Scott.
That's a crazy thing. Okay, here. Can I say something for 10 seconds?
Yeah,
Say
go
it.
for it.
If we watch people stat pad in the NBA, what would you react to that? Like,
He's
This is
stat patter.
This is ridiculous.
this is ridiculous. I think the criticism is fair of Angel Reese with some of her stat padding. Her most recent game was the game it got broken. They're down 10 points. She's posting up. She's quadruple teamed, and now she's
12 seconds left.
With 12 seconds left. In 2 games prior, they're up 10. She needs a point. She's posting someone up instead of getting the ball dribbled out. Eventually gets fouled and makes a free throw. I'm like, that to me is where I'm like, I don't have interest in this because it is so clear that a lot of this is getting achieved late in games. That's all I'll say. She's a great
agree.
player, but
It's so annoying.
it's annoying. It's super annoying.
Yeah.
I kind of want to see them fight.
What?
I kind of want to see, like, Angel Reese and Kaylin Clark kind of throw hands. Wouldn't that be, like, kind of sick?
A Malice at the Palace.
Yeah.
Do you think Kaylin Clark doesn't show it, but do you think she dislikes Angel Reese as much as Angel Reese dislikes her?
No.
Or do you think Angel
don't
Reese
think-
dislikes her because of the fame of Caitlin Clark?
I think Kaylin Clark, she obviously knows Angel Reese, but she could care less about Angel Reese.
Yeah.
She's, like, not even on the same level.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just interesting. And I saw something too, because I liked one tweet, and now my algorithm is just, there's literally a Caitlin Clark muse. Where people
course.
just
Yeah.
tweet Caitlin.
There's one for every player
Like,
almost.
her last, I don't know what their exact record is, but she got left off Team USA. And their last 5 games, she's 4-1. And it's against 7 USA women's players and the head coach of the U.S. women's team. It's revenge tour for Caitlin Clark.
She's also, like, the first guard to ever have, like, 5 double-doubles in a row as a rookie.
Yeah, she's nuts. She's generational. So that's what we'll leave at that.
Also, we have to retire Mikal Bridges from our Kingdom of Small Ball.
Yeah.
He's on the wall, too.
Oh, and I just realized this whole episode we haven't had a jersey here because I took the Kings one to Summer League.
Trevor,
I know.
our set looks stupid now.
So we have to do the show
hey,
over?
wait, that jersey I have, can we hang it up for the next one?
Yes, that deserves to be up.
Okay, cool.
It's a Harvard Jeremy Lin jersey.
Oh, that's so sick.
That's as small ball as it gets.
It's a small ball as it
That's
gets.
awesome.
Yeah.
Fire.
Yeah, so we'll get that up next episode. The people will love that.
Yeah.
And
Cool.
Great. R.I.P. Mikal Bridges.
R.I.P. Shout out to him and Jalen Brunson for taking pay cuts.
Dogs.
Mikhail's expected to take another pay
Power of friendship.
cut. Listen, man, that's love.
That's love. All right, well, for my lovely friend Christian Dennis and the lovely Trevor Mifflin, I'm Skyler saying so long for now. We will see you next week.
Did you see Trump got shot?